our panel today is some amazing people, as you can see, and they're all life group leaders in our church. And they know how to do community well, and they know that being together is better. And so we're just going to spend some time this morning asking them some questions. So get comfortable, lean in, and we will take it away. So first off, hello. This is exciting, isn't it? A little bit different. I just want you guys to introduce yourselves so everyone knows who you are.
So I start? Okay. Hi church, I am Emma-Lisa. I am married to one of the hosts down there, Matt, and we have 5 little kids running around, ranging from turns 1 on Tuesday right up to 7 years old. So we've been a part of this church for ages. And anything else you want to know? No, cool.
Hi, I'm Faith Rayner, married to Nigel Rayner down there, and we have 7 children together, nearly 11 grandchildren, 4 cats, and a geriatric basset hound dog.
Hey guys, I'm Josh, and I am married to Hosanna over there, and we've got our little 2 kids out at Salt Kids and Creche. No pets. Kids are enough at this stage, so yeah.
Fantastic. Now, as I've said to the church, you guys are all life group leaders. So do you mind telling us what life group you lead and what made you want to lead a life group?
Cool. So what life group we lead? We don't have a cool name. Maybe we should get one. It's just Josh and Hosanna's life group, I guess. To go with that for now. And what made us want to lead? I think, because we do value community, and I think once... after we joined Salt, it was really once we got involved in a life group that we actually started getting to know people, making closer connections than what you can on a Sunday morning. So we wanted to keep that going. We were part of Seeing Kukum's life group, and they were really awesome. Had some really awesome people in their group. So we were like, we want to keep hanging out with these people. So we're like, we'll take that on so that it keeps going, and that's us.
I run one of the women's life groups. We have 2 women's life groups now in church, and I love God, and I love people, and I love fun. So it's quite a good combination, really. So we're doing a lot of each of those things.
Cool, and I am part of a team of 4, and we run a life group called Married Up, and it came about just out of not out of a heart of wanting to be exclusive, but out of a heart of seeing marriages around us, like young marriages, falling apart. And we just felt like there was just a need for a little bit of extra, coming together and sharing the struggles or sharing the ideas, sharing the wins, sharing the, just having someone that can have your back and that you can just come up with really cool ideas together. And we search out... all sorts of great resources and stuff online. There's actually so much good stuff out there, and just sort of challenge each other. So we started up a life group for married people, and Joby's part of our life group. And I'm also part of a group called Mums Connect, which is all about supporting mums of any age. It does tend to be a lot of mums with new babies and little ones, but I just want to encourage you, if you want to get involved and you are a mum, your kids don't have to be little. You can have teenagers, kids with kids. You can have grandkids. But I just want to encourage you that you're all sort of part of our family, really. So, that's another group that we're part of.
Very, very cool. And that's just they're just 3 of some amazing life groups in our church. And if you are interested in becoming part of a life group, if you're not yet, check out our website, www.moresalt.org, and go to life groups and check them out, because we do have some amazing people leading life groups, and we are better together when we are doing that. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you guys is, what does community mean to you? When you think about the word community, what does that mean to you?
I have to go first again. Okay, for me, I suppose community can seem like quite a simple term, like it's something that we talk about at church a lot. For me, I suppose maybe it's influenced by the season that I'm in. For me, a community is a village. People talk about your child being raised by a village, not just by, a mum and a dad. And I think we kind of have lost that in our culture a lot today. And although I think being part of a church, you don't lose that so much. And it's not until you are in contact with other mums and dads and things out in the community that you realise that most people are doing this in their own little bubble. And we're so blessed to be part of a church where you can have, like mums that are so much further ahead of you on the journey. And you can also be encouraging mums that are, new mums that have got their first baby. All at the same time, you've got this multi-generational, multi-ethnic, it's just such an awesome combination. And for me, I think that has been a huge support, really, just to have all those people around and in every stage and every season, and especially when you're bringing up kids, because it is a bit of a roller coaster at times. And I'm all about learning from others as well, not sort of having to make all your own mistakes. Did that as a teenager, don't need to do that as a parent, but also learning from other people's wins and not so good parts of parenting. So yeah, it's about having those people around you for the good stuff and the not so good stuff, I think is awesome.
I think being a community is like being a family, really, and our life group has become a family. And so when people leave to move to Christchurch or take other life groups, we miss them. We feel sad about them, and we love reconnecting with them. But it's also about sharing the good times and the difficult times and the broken times. And there's lots of those moments in our lives, and supporting each other, being there for each other. We have messenger pages, so we a little prayer chain going on as well. So it's always having each other's backs, really.
Yeah, for me, community makes me think of Acts chapter 2, where it talks about the early church and how they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the breaking of bread and fellowship and prayer, and how they had all things in common, which doesn't mean that they all like watching rugby. It meant that they shared their stuff with each other and they shared their lives with each other, and that word common obviously is related to the word community. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I was just sharing earlier actually with some of the team that for me, community, I grew up in a really small town in Wanganui called Fordell, and it was a place where everyone knew everyone. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that in your life, if you're from a small town like me, or in other areas of your life like sports or workplaces or whatever it might be, that there was just a sense of community when people always came together. All the kids went to school, all the teachers served on the PTA. If something broke down, John down the road knew how to fix it. You knew everybody could do something in a community, and I loved that. And I loved also that when a new person came in, everyone was like, "Wow, there's a new person." There was I didn't know that, because you knew everyone. And when a new person walked in, there was this sense of gather around them and welcome them and bring them in. And I love that about church. I love that as a community in our church that we can do life together like that. If you need a trailer, Russell's got one. Just advertise for that. If you need people to help you move, we've got plenty of guys in church can help you do that. And if you need people to babysit, I'm sure there's lots of young adults. Thank you, young adults. We'll put your name up. They can do that. We want to do that. We want to be a family that do community together like that you can just reach out and be like, I've got your back. I can help you in this. You're struggling, I can help you with that. If you're going through a win, I want to celebrate with you in that. You got a new baby, I'll hold that baby. You can that's what we want to be about as a community. And I hope you feel that when you walk into our church. I hope you feel that when you go to a life group. I hope you feel that when you are out in the foyer having a coffee in a great place there with nice coffee, so stick around. That's what we're about. And I'm just wondering, can you think of a time where community was really beneficial to you? There's a time in your life that community just came through for you.
Yeah, for me, I think when community really came through for me was when I moved to Wellington. I grew up in Palmy, went to Palmy Boys, and moved down to Wellington to study music at Vic. Never finished that degree, but that doesn't matter. And there's a process of kind of having to re-establish yourself in obviously a new life and a new church and stuff. And one thing that was really awesome was there was also a great Christian fellowship at the university. And I think just that point where you kind of you're moving out from under your parents' home for the first time, but you're also in a way moving out from under your parents' faith for the first time as well. And you kind of have to decide, okay, I'm going to keep doing this by myself. So having that community around me was really beneficial to me. Yeah.
I think I've always loved communities. I come from the same place as Russell, Kimbolton, a small community, which I've got lots of happy memories there. But also Nigel, my husband, was in the Armed Forces, the Air Force for many years, and that in itself is its own community. But for us as a life group, I think when we really loved it was in lockdown. It was great being part of we had each other in lockdown, we could communicate, and I did little videos every day, some places in the garden, some places in random places, in my dressing gown, sitting in bed, whatever, and I'd ask God for little messages and he would give them to me, and I would just post those every day on our Facebook page, and it was a great way, social media, it was fantastic in lockdown for most of us actually.
So what was the question?
With community was really beneficial.
Really beneficial to me. Well, I'm going to bring it back to babies. We've had quite a few babies over the last few years, and one of our amazing mums, who has actually moved to Christchurch, set up some awesome initiatives. And one of the things that she set up, aside from Mums Connect, which is this thing called Meals for Mums, and it's something that we've sort of picked up and carried on, and it's I suppose just in recognition of how much of a big deal it is when you bring home a new baby. And so we support each other by just rallying around and doing meals for each other. And it's crazy how in that state, where you're getting no sleep and just trying to adjust, just having someone sorting out your dinner for you is just such a huge blessing. And we've been so blessed by that 5 times. I feel like I'm kind of like taking advantage of the system. But also, not to get all deep and down, but we, almost 2 years ago, we also lost a baby at 20 weeks, and it was just so awesome to have all these people like rallying around, bringing flowers. Again, people just brought us meals. I think for like almost a month we had people bringing us meals, and just through those times where you could be so isolated and you could feel so unseen and alone, you've got these people that are actually looking out for you and just they've got your back, and once again, we're just so blessed that we've got this extra massive family of people that can come through in the hard times and celebrate in the good times.
Yeah. So good. I was actually thinking of a time where community was really beneficial to me, and similar to Josh and to Emelisa actually. My husband and David, who was playing bass this morning, that good-looking man that was there, first time, go babes. But we moved to London after we got married, and we went through a really difficult time there. We also lost a baby, which was really sad, but our church in London was our lifeline because we were so far away from family. And I know a lot of you don't have family that support you in church, because your family live far away, you've moved here for jobs or whatsoever, and it can be isolating in that time where you walk through something difficult and your immediate family isn't with you. But our church family in London became that for us, and they brought us meals. They walked alongside us within our grief. They allowed us to grieve. They allowed us to have joy in our grief. They allowed us to hold their babies when we wanted to hold a baby. They allowed us to just be what we needed to be in that time. And they were our family. And, if you feel isolated at any time, know that we are a family. Know that we want to walk alongside with you through the hard times and the good times. And I think you can feel when you don't have that immediate sense of family with you, for different reasons, whatever it may be, that you feel like you're alone, but you're not. And I just wanted to remind people of that today, that there's always somebody that wants to help you. There's always somebody that wants to walk alongside you. There's always somebody that has possibly walked those steps before. I'm very open about my miscarriage because I know there's a lot of women that have walked through that and have felt very lonely and isolated through that time. But if you have, I want to talk to you. I want to sit with you. I want to share my story, and I want you to share your story with me, because that's what family does. We share stories together. We share the hard times together. We share what we've been through together. And if you want 5 children like Ems, talk to Ems about how to raise 5 children. Or 7, because Faith had 7. Josh had 2 like me. We were wise. No. But that's what we're about. What's one piece of advice that you guys would give to help people get into community?
I would say, to get into community and to really build those relationships, you do have to push yourself Well, I do. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone because I'm that kind of person who doesn't enjoy the meet and greet. I'm the person who gets distracted by my children, probably conveniently at meet and greet time. And of course, having quite a few children, even after church, I'm constantly like flitting around. So I'm really terrible at meeting new people and really connecting with people around church. And so for me, that connection, it has to be really intentional. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone and be like, I don't know that person. I need to go and talk to them and like get brave because it's so not me. But pushing yourself out, and it could be even going to a life group, just showing up. And keeping showing up, you know? Like it can be easy to be like, oh, it's raining and cold, we'll just stay home and watch Netflix. Or, you know, it does take effort, but it's so worth it once you start building those relationships and you start having these people as part of your world, you know? It's not just church on a Sunday or even just life group once a week. You'll find once you really get knitted into a life group is that it becomes these people that you're messaging about, oh, I saw this good deal on Trade Me that you were after one of these. Or, you know, it just becomes part of everything that you're doing, you know, you start to relate to these people, they become part of your world, but it does take a stepping out and an intentionality. Yeah, you have to be intentional about it. So I would just say, go for it, you know. We're in a church where people here have awesome hearts and they want to connect with you, even if they're like me and they're quite wussy and not very good at it. You know, once you break down past that awkwardness to start with, you'll find that there's so many awesome people in here that are so worth doing the journey with. So, yeah, just do it.
Well, two things I'd like to say is the first is be brave. So if you're shy, you know, we will all embrace you. You know, we're all a pack of friendly people, really. And it's in someone's home, so it's homely, it's not threatening, it's not a big hall or anything like that. But the second thing is that the longer I've lived as a Christian, the more intentionally I live my life. Like whether it's my quiet time with God, I do it very intentionally, you know, with a lot of areas of my life now. And life group would be a one, like once you are committed, be committed, go all out. Like the people that come to group that come every week and they come to the things and they share and they, you know, are willing to be vulnerable, you know, they're the ones that knit in the fastest, really. And it's very easy, I think, as human beings, we can live in our emotions a lot. Like, you know, I'm always tired. I'd never come to life group because I'm always tired. But I think, no, I'm not going to live like that. Satan's not going to beat me. You know, once I've made a commitment, it doesn't matter if there's a storm outside or it's frosty or it's cold or we're tired and we've worked all day, because some things have to be priority in our lives. And for me, God is the number one priority. And so what I do for God. I don't do it even for myself. Because sometimes I don't want to do it either. But I say, no, I've made a commitment, I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably reiterating very similar themes. I'm another person who, if you ask me to talk to somebody new, I'd rather be like, do you have a bowl of Brussels sprouts I can eat or something like that? But It is so key, and I think on both sides, I know, like, you know, we've got really awesome stuff here at church. We've got really awesome pastors who make an effort to talk to people. We've got really nice, colourful welcome cards and stuff, but there's no guarantees that everyone's going to fill out a welcome card. There's no guarantees that the pastors are going to have time to get around every single new person in the service, so we've all got to make an effort, including me, talking to myself. Because that's what's going to connect people. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, I'm the same. Keep showing up. That's the easiest thing to do. Even if it's hard, keep showing up. Well, this is the rounding up our end of our panel, but I hope you feel encouraged today by these people and their stories, because we're all just sharing our stories, right? And I just wanted to end with 1 Peter 3:8. Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. So be encouraged this morning, and thank you, Ruby. We'll invite you back up. Thanks, team. You're amazing.